She didn't believe in fairy tales anymore, not after what life had done to her. But that night, when she stood on the rooftop of her crumbling apartment building with the cold wind clawing at her skin, she never expected that the most powerful billionaire in the country would be the reason she didn't jump. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the truth behind stories like hers, because this one, you won't believe how it ends. Her name was Emily Rivers, 25, no family left, a life that felt like a long list of punishments she didn't deserve. Years ago, she had dreamed of becoming a fashion designer. She sketched beautiful dresses under cheap flickering lights while her mother cheered her on. But sickness came, bills piled up, and Emily traded her dreams for survival. The day she buried her mother was the day she decided heaven didn't exist. The world was brutal, and the rich people running it were demons disguised as angels. So when she was accidentally hired as a cleaner at the most luxurious private events in the city, she kept her head down. She wiped champagne from gold-plated floors and stayed invisible. That's how the rich liked her. Not seen, not heard. Then he appeared. Alexander Knight, the youngest billionaire CEO in North America. Every magazine cover worshipped his jawline, his suits, his empire. They called him the man who could buy the future. He walked with a presence that made people stop breathing. And that night at the rooftop charity gala, Emily saw him from behind a column while mopping spilled caviar. Someone laughed about wasting. He looked lonely. His eyes scanned the horizon like he wanted to escape, like owning the world wasn't enough. Emily watched him, curious. She should have looked away. But then his gaze caught her. Sharp, unreadable, electric, a look that should never have been meant for someone like her. Their lives collided in 1 second. A waiter tripped on her mop bucket, sending a tower of glasses crashing toward Alexander. Emily moved without thinking, catching the tray, shielding him from the glass storm. People screamed. Security rushed, and Alexander stared at her like she had just saved more than his life. "Are you hurt?" he asked. His voice was warm velvet, unexpected from a man known for ice. Emily stepped back, already terrified. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't be here. I'll go. Please don't fire me." "Fire you?" His lips curled into a rare smirk. "I haven't seen bravery like that in years." Emily wished the earth would swallow her. But instead, he said 4 words she would never forget. "Come with me tonight." She refused. Of course she did. But fate listened only to him, and within hours she was escorted to a penthouse suite higher than clouds. She expected indulgent arrogance, but the space was filled with art of shattered hearts and trapped wings. A story of a broken boy hidden behind billions. He poured her tea with his own hands. No assistants, no cameras, just them. "You saw me tonight," he said quietly. "Not the billionaire, not the legend. You looked at me like a human." Emily held her breath. People always wanted from him money, fame, power. And he saw that she wanted none of it. That made her dangerous. Days turned into weeks. Alexander found excuses to see her. Late-night drives, rooftops where they could breathe. She brought laughter back into his life. He spent millions trying to buy happiness, but realized it cost only trust. He learned about her mother, her dreams, her drawings. One evening he presented her with a key card. "This," he said, "is the entrance to Knight Industries' fashion wing. It's yours." Emily was shaking. "Why would you give me something like that?" "Because you'll build something the world has never seen." For the first time, she felt worthy of life again. It was too beautiful to be real, and beauty never comes without a curse. There was another woman, Victoria Hayes, socialite, heiress, the kind of woman who was born with a diamond spoon in her mouth and believed everyone else existed to shine her shoes. She had been promised to Alexander for years, a business marriage, money marrying more money. When she discovered he had fallen for a maid, her obsession ignited into war. Victoria didn't fight fair. Paparazzi suddenly caught Emily sneaking out of the penthouse. Headlines spread like poison. Billionaire seduced by gold-digging maid. Death threats flooded Emily's apartment door. Designers refused to work with her. Investors pulled out. Her dreams were publicly murdered before they were even born. Emily tried to stay strong, but then the police arrived. She was accused of stealing a diamond necklace worth $3 million from Victoria. Cameras humiliated her as she was handcuffed and dragged away. And as they shoved her into the back of the police car, she saw Victoria smirking outside the station. Alexander came running. He shouted with a fury that shook buildings. "She's innocent. You will regret touching her." But Victoria had influence, connections. She forged evidence, bought witnesses. Emily was trapped. In the court, Victoria appeared in black lace, pretending to mourn the betrayal of her dear friend. She placed a hand dramatically on her heart. "I trusted her. I loved her like a sister, and she tried to destroy me. Emily felt her world collapse. Everything she touched turned to ash. Alexander stood and spoke with lightning in his voice. "I will burn the world before I let you erase her." But Emily broke first. She looked at him with tears drowning her courage. "Stop fighting for me. You deserve someone like her. Someone who belongs in your world." Alexander's face shattered. "You are my world." She was sentenced to 6 months. But what broke her wasn't the jail bars. It was believing she wasn't enough for him. She pushed him away through the calls he begged to make. She told him to forget her, to save himself, and he disappeared. 6 months later, she stepped out of prison with nothing but a box of memories and a heart stitched together with grief. She found a factory job and tried to disappear from the map of pain. But destiny wasn't finished. One night, while walking home in the freezing rain, a black car stopped beside her. She panicked, but then the window rolled down. Alexander. He looked different, hardened, hunted, but his eyes still carried her name. "I never gave up on you," he said, "but to save you, I had to destroy her first." Emily listened, trembling. Victoria had gone too far, and Alexander wasn't just a billionaire. He owned investigators, security networks, and every secret hiding in the city's shadows. He uncovered everything: Victoria bribing police, blackmailing judges, stealing her own necklace to frame Emily, even planning to take full control of Knight Industries through the arranged marriage contract. "I have all the proof. And she will fall," he whispered, like a promise written in thunder. But there was one more twist Emily didn't see coming. Victoria had kidnapped the only designer who agreed to work with Emily before the scandal. That designer had gone missing. Everyone assumed they fled the industry in shame. But Alexander found surveillance footage. Victoria's men forcing them into a black van. Victoria wasn't just cruel. She was a criminal mastermind. Alexander and Emily worked together in secret, sneaking into Victoria's mansion, hacking her private servers, recording confessions she drunkenly made to her circle of devils. Each night, they risked their lives to reveal truth. They were unstoppable, until Victoria cornered Emily alone. A rooftop, a storm, the same height where their story began. Victoria pushed Emily to the edge with a manic grin. "Do you think love saves people?" she hissed. "Love destroys people like us." Emily stared at the furious heiress and finally understood. Victoria didn't love Alexander. She loved owning power. And Emily threatened her empire. Lightning cracked as Victoria lunged. But Emily stepped aside at the last second. Victoria stumbled, heels slipping on the soaked rooftop. She grabbed Emily's arm, screaming, "If I fall, you fall with me." Emily looked into the eyes of a monster dressed as royalty and whispered, "No, I choose to live." Victoria's grip broke. A final scream disappeared into rain and darkness. Police arrived within minutes. Alexander held Emily tightly, terrified he'd lost her again. Victoria survived the fall, but barely, enough to face trial, enough to lose everything. The world flipped. Headlines now praised Emily, the woman who exposed a criminal dynasty. Her story went viral, but she didn't care about fame anymore. She just wanted peace, maybe love, if love was still possible. Alexander walked toward her at a press conference the following week. Cameras flashed, people gasped. The billionaire everyone feared now looked vulnerable, because he was about to give his heart away in public. He knelt before her, hands trembling. "I don't care about the world," he said. "I cared only when you joined it. Emily Rivers, I was born with a fortune, but loving you is the first thing that ever felt real. Please, let's build everything together," she cried. Not because she was scared, but because happiness finally chose her. Emily took his hand. "Yes," she breathed. "Let's go home." The crowd erupted. Alexander kissed her like they were the last two people alive. And suddenly, her life wasn't a tragedy anymore. It was a second chance. It was the dream she thought she had lost forever. Because sometimes love doesn't come from fairy tales. Sometimes it comes in the shape of a lonely billionaire and a brave woman who reminded him how to be human. Their story didn't end with wealth. It began with it.